alternate them constantly. And each option that you have has different options. Like they have different properties and where we can go. So it's
Oh
kind of
my
like pushing
goodness.
some of the stuff we
This
have
is gonna
a little
be
bit more to the
intense.
extreme and going into that, right? And so what's also interesting is that we really built this hero to be every single light attack is using the spear, and every single heavy attack uses the club. When we zone, sometimes it uses the club, sometimes like you can see the finish.
Yeah, it's
uses
hyper
both
armor,
at the
which is
same time.
nice.
It's kind of cool there. So I know this this caused not problems, but it's challenging for animation, right? That really have that's different because it's the first time we have a hero that has two really distinct weapons, like real weapons, not like a shield and whatever. We have some characters that have like some hero like Peacekeeper that has like a dagger and a sword, but they're kind of similar and they're not used in the same way. So what kind of challenges you guys face when we're working on this?
If I may, if in a way it kind of focused animation because it was like a very direct way to see like, okay, well, heavy's always going to be the club and light's always going to be the spear. So in a way, it focused a lot of our animation work. We were able to immediately discern and immediately make clear the animations were going to be light with the spear and all that. So that was good.
Another thing is that with the spear, we aim to have range, okay, with those pokes and things. And then with the club, we went more for the heaviness feeling, the body weight feeling, that power. And then if we talk about the chain, we went and took advantage of that inertia that the character was having, that momentum he was having. And we made a decision like, are we making him a spin or not? So yeah, like that, like you are showing it right now.
Yeah. So sometimes you're spinning, sometimes you're not. It's like
Yes.
to make sure that
normally
feels good
with
there,
the
right?
club is when we spin because we have a lot of strength, a lot of energy going on, and then with the spear it's just we go for the range.
All right.
One of the big challenges I find we had for the openers and finishers was to everything chain together. So we had to really make sure that every blend was like perfect for that.
Yeah, the flow of the character was really important because we only had about 3 frames in order to make transitions between the one attack to the other one in chain. So to put all together with the endless possibilities, it was sort of a challenge.
Yeah,
but,
big challenge
yeah,
there, yeah.
we wanted the player to have that feeling that he's never out of the chain.
That's cool, yeah. Because one of the things that, like you're talking about, like having 3 frames for chains and stuff. Like, so if I can explain like in more gameplay terms. So
Yes, of course.
but it's essentially what we're talking about here is that we tried to make sure when we're designing this hero to have almost like a blender-like quality, right? We want you to when you're facing an Ocelotl that you're scared, and to have that sort of pressure and to make sure that you really felt that pressure. We made sure that the chain link timings were as short as possible. So often enough, when if you do a light into a heavy, you see it goes very fast into the next attack. You can delay them a little bit, of course, right, if you want, but you don't have to. And if you go really quick, you get that sense of pressure, of that constant aggression, and really feeling like you're in a blender, right? That's kind of what we're going for. So that's super interesting. But it does. That's like you were mentioning. It creates a lot of challenges in terms of, well, how do we make this look good? How do we make this feel good?
Oh, it looks good.
That's a definite big challenge. That's really cool. I'm happy you guys really pulled it off because it's a big thing. So that's great.
And I also think it's cool, like when you look back and you hear kind of the narrative aspects of it that Ian and Raph talked about a bit, with this this character and the story that was built for him. It really was like you made a very angry boy, right? Like he's very angry, right? And so you feel that a lot in his
There is
attacks,
something
right?
that I always say is that we have strong words here, strong feelings like fury or rage, whatever, brutal, vengeance. So he has a lot going on inside of him.
Yeah.
And our job is to translate emotions into motion.
Ah, that's amazing.
Yeah.
That's great.
I like that tagline.
We
Also
had
jump
in our
attack.
minds in every single attack.
Should have a dodge
in the
attack
night.
too.
Like Annalie, of course, she's not here.
Yes,
but,
I dodge.
yeah, we try to focus on that in order to make him strong. In the anticipation to build that energy, quick releases, and then during the recovery, like he gets again into balance. So yeah.
Well, yeah, really cool stuff. Awesome. So
all right, so let's keep going a little bit into the heroes like basic kit, right? So like I was saying, every single light, like the neutral lights are 500 ms, like we normally have. Chain lights are all 400 ms. They tag people when you dodge after you do a heavy or a bash or whatever. So again, a lot of pressure there. Light finishers are 400 as well. So if I go light into light, that's 400. I don't think anybody can react to these things. Like we've done some tests with some
cannot.
pro players. Right. That's the thing.
We can. For sure.
Heavies, chain. So the chain heavies are 700 ms, really fast and with really quick chain link timings. Again, to keep up the pressure. Heavy finishers are unblockable in every single stance. Big swings there.
Nice.
Really,
Small size.
Effort into like the camera angles and the
They are my favorite attacks.
It's one of my favorites as well.
Yeah, they look really cool, right?
Made it so it was very heavy on all fronts.
Yeah, they do feel heavy, even though they're quick. You do feel that a lot of the heaviness. Well, so it's really good. And then we have zone attacks, which are always armored. The opener one, like it gains armor a little bit later, but when you go
It's
into
a little
chains,
slow.
you get armor at first frame. They're a bit slow,
Maybe the opener,
but the idea
but
there is like you're in a group fight, whatever. You typically
that
want
is
to use
true
zone attacks.
with hyper armor.
So making them armor makes you harder to peel. That goes well. Heavy zone finishers as well. Like they switch sides too, so you're not super predictable. Again, you can use your armor to trade against dodge attacks against certain things, so that's great.
Yeah.
And then we have bashes, right? So we also have an opener bash, so from front dodge into bash. We go into this.
Nice.
One of the things that we'll see as we go towards this is that every single bash this hero has deals direct damage.
Okay.
Never has confirmed damage afterwards, although getting a 400 MS fight afterwards is almost guaranteed. But, you know, there's still ways to get out of it.
Yeah.
So the neutral bash, pretty simple. 500 MS bash, up for front dodge. So that works quite well. Then we have the chain version that I'm going to go into here, which is slower. Deals the right damage, but is feintable, right? We've been doing a lot of feintable bashes, especially on this hero. It's super
but it's
scary.
chain.
We've had some players
So
that tested it out a little bit with us.
No
and
problem with that.
they're like, yeah, this is really cool. Well, and last but not least, we have the bash finisher, which is 500
Oh
MS,
my
does
gosh.
quite a bit of damage. You have to make a read because you cannot dodge after this if I throw a light. So it's a lot again, like a lot of that pressure and that build up there into going to what am I going to do? What's my opponent going to do? What is the Ocelotl going to do against me? And it's super scary. And with those bashes too, like we have like really unique animations here. Like everything's super different. I can go into this one where you do a big pummel strike. The finisher has the kind of crust cut there. So what kind of inspiration you guys take for these types of things?
Oh, at first all the bashes were pummel strikes. I believe the opener was the right side, and then for the in chain we had the pummel strike from the spear. At a certain point, we're like, these are all pummel strikes. So JC had the great idea of making the scissor move, which I found really great. And it's a really vicious move. You kind of feel like Daniel was saying, the rage of the character through that move. Fantastic.
Yeah, super cool.
Yeah.
So, all right. So outside of this, we have dodge attacks. They're all on lights. They don't have massive trajectories. Again, we have to have like sometimes some downsides to the hero, but also like it feels really natural to have quick dodge attacks with this. Front dodge light as well there. So there's a little jump here in a bit of distance. That's pretty cool. Works quite well. But there's one more little thing I think that we haven't done.
Oh yes,
right?
that's very true.
That's quite different with this hero. So one of the things that we really wanted to feel, because we have all of this, right? We have the feat set that we're also going to talk afterwards. But one of the core aspects is the hunting, the stalking, right? And so as we were developing the hero more and more, we're like, we're kind of missing that aspect a little bit. So we ended up creating a new kind of stalker stance, prowl stance. You access it by holding down on the right stick, and you go into this, right? So when you are in this stance, there's a
I
couple of
knew
things.
it! I
First
knew
of
there'd
all,
be
you
two
can block.
stances. James, I
So
told
it's
you.
really not meant to
I
be
told
like
you.
something defensive, even though like it's not super visible. But when you go into it, you get you do get.
But
a
your
little bit of
guard,
dodge.
you don't
It's
have
not
your
like
guard
a
up.
Nobushi. It's the same timings as Nobushi, so you can dodge attacks with it.
Yeah.
So it works quite well. And then the other thing that's interesting here is that you actually walk faster when you are in this stance than when you're not. So an example, if I'm strafing to the right here, you see the speed I'm going at. But when I'm in that prowl stance, I'm going much faster. Faster front, faster back, faster.
What is everything unblockable?
So the idea here is that we really want people to be able to use this stance to kind of like be, there's a group fight happening. I'm hunting my prey. What am I going to do? And you get there. So when you are in this stance, you have one single attack that you can perform with the heavy button, which is this. So
Oh my
when you perform
gosh.
it, you jump forward, leap by quite a bit. And if your attack connects, or you can use from really far, you get into a bit of a pin. The club gets embedded in the opponent, slice it off. So really, really good. This acts as a heavy, so you can do your heavy chains afterwards. It's a heavy opener, like what we have as a heavy openers. and it's super effective. It's not the best tool in 1v1. I can warn people right away. It's not meant to be used as a 1v1 tool, but it's excellent at peeling. Right. So if you're again far in a group fight, you might be off screen. People don't really see you too much. You get into it, and then you see an opening. Boom, you go, you strike. Works super well. It's not faintable or anything, but it's really, so you have to commit to it, but it feels really good.
This happened a lot in tests too, just so people know. You know, we were like testing it out. You'd be just, you know, playing a Dominion game, then suddenly this just Ocelotl comes flying in from off screen. You're like, okay.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, right. But what's also cool here is that this requires a lot of work from animation. So you want to walk us through a little bit, like, what goes into making that sort of stance there?
Okay, first of all, the stance, like the character is a little bit low. We can say that. And he's not static in that stance. So, which means we had to go to Mocap and record a whole navigation like that.
Yeah.
The Mocap actors did an amazing job. So, shout out. Like, they did amazing.
Yeah.
And for back and legs, I would say.
Yeah.
So
he's gonna be feeling it for sure.
Yeah.
So
I remember we shot it on I think on a Monday. And the Tuesday, the guys came back in, and they you saw they were hurting. It was obvious. They're very, very professionally trained, like stuntmen. They're amazing. They're really, really good people. They're doing an amazing job. But it's still very, very it's hard.
An amazing job there.
Was it tough to go and convince the Mocap actors? Like, hey, so we just kind of need you to crouch for the next like 2 hours.
A little bit more.
Just walk
and
everywhere.
Can we repeat this, please?
Do it again.
And
Crouch better. You know.
We can always modify it like with our software, but it takes longer. So when we have like really good data, it's everything. We can put everything together like way faster.
Nice.
Yeah.
And for the attack, I would say that the challenge here as an animator, we always exaggerate poses, and it was the range that he's covering there. So the challenge was to keep it. Right.
Yeah.
This is a W. I don't know. I could be biased, but
and
he's
as much as
it's gonna be a lot of fun. A lot of fun.